Hello, guys. Welcome to episode 28 of NEPA Story. Today, I'm introducing you to Christopher Kupchik, who is a Chief Executive Officer of Caring Communities, which is a nonprofit organization with offices located in Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, Bloomsburg, and Towanda, providing care, wellness, and support services for those living with HIV and other or STIs. Thank you so much, Christopher, for taking the time to chat with us today and chime more about caring communities if no one is familiar. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it, caring communities and the work we do.
So, of course, you guys have been around since the 90s, which I'm still wrapping
Yes.
my head around that you guys been around for such a long time. But what exactly is caring communities and why did you guys kind of start it?
Well, and first I'll say that I've been with this organization since 2006. But the organization itself it was started as a grassroots effort back in 1994, so the mid 1990s. And it started out in response to the local HIV/AIDS epidemic. Now, back, of course, in the 1990s, when HIV was rampant throughout the country and here in northeastern and north central Pennsylvania, there were people who were passing away and getting very sick as a result of it, but there wasn't a whole lot people could do. So a group of individuals got together in north central Pennsylvania at the time. And they banded together in, I think, someone's garage or living room, and they said, what can we do? Now, at the time, those folks were only able to do basic services like provide blankets, food, water, and stuff for people who were living and at that time dying of HIV. And they called themselves the Danville AIDS Task Force. And then they did that kind of work, over the years. And as time went on, medications came about, people were able to begin to get treated for their HIV and live a lot longer than they had during this epidemic. The organization changed their name to Caring Communities for AIDS, and that's what the name we stuck with today. So it started out very small and it kind of grew. And now we serve 12 counties in northeastern and north central Pennsylvania. And as you mentioned, we have 4 locations. We have about close to 30 staff members. We do a variety of different services as well. So yeah, we're pretty busy. We keep busy, and we've expanded our footprint here in the area.
Gosh, that's awesome. Like, I don't know why, but with everything you're saying, it kind of low-key reminds me of the pandemic, like the COVID pandemic during those recent years. Of course, everything shut down. And of course, everyone in Pennsylvania, especially in the northern part of it, in our area, knows that kind of impact lasted on these people around here because everyone's like looking for something to do. No one knew what was happening because everything with the COVID pandemic happened very quickly, and then no one really knew what it was. This was some sort of virus that came from China. That's all we knew. Like, and everyone was like looking for things to do, of course. But of course, no one knew what was happening, so no one really knew how to get involved. But of course, with the new research that's coming out and the new studies and the vaccines that came out, it kind of was, I feel like, was so similar to the way HIV was. Of course, it was the 90s. HIV, I feel like, was more bigger back then than it is today. Because of course, with all the vaccines and the way they treat it, because of course we have more of those resources now than we did back in 1994 when you guys started.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can draw some parallels between the recent pandemic that we experienced here in the world abroad with COVID-19. And certainly, I think some of the major differences, though, would be that when it comes to HIV, there is no vaccine, although science has tried to come up with a vaccine to prevent HIV. We've gotten close, and I think I keep reading that the companies expect to have something in the next several years, but that still remains to be seen. Of course, now with COVID, you did see that, a lot of companies worked 24/7 across the world to get those vaccines up and running. So I think, right there, and there is the vaccine, which was good in order to treat it. So I get what you're saying with the parallels and how it just overwhelmed us as a community and as a nation and a country and in a world. Both pandemics did, I think, yeah, but it just took a lot longer for HIV to get where it is today, because of the type of virus that it is. But yeah, a lot of work went in, a lot of hard work, and unfortunately, people until that the medicines that the life-saving medicines were available for people with HIV, people ended up losing their lives, much like COVID, unfortunately. But now people that we help in our case management program, because we do offer what's called HIV case management as one of our services. It's a voluntary program that people who are living with HIV but need some resources or need access to healthcare or housing, you help with utilities, that kind of stuff while they're dealing with their illness. They can get that. So yeah, so we have a lot of services that we can do when it comes to assisting.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up, like, I'm surprised that there's no vaccine or anything that has for people with HIV. Honestly, that there was something that was surrounded by HIV, had to treat it, but that surprises me that there's no vaccine yet after so many years it's been around. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's been around, well, geez, in excess of 30 plus years, that we've been treating and dealing with it here, probably closer to, I don't even know, I have to look now, it's probably closer to 40, but it's been around for a while. And yeah, the vaccine, it's an insidious virus. It's really difficult for, science, as I understand it. And I'm not a researcher, I'm not a scientist, so I don't deal with that. But from what I understand, it's kind of insidious and it's difficult for them to kind of get a hand on. But there is hope. I know recently there's been talk in the news and about the possibility of some of the companies, some researchers getting to that point. But we shall see. We shall see.
Mhm.
The good thing is, I think the good thing that to remember is that if you have HIV and you're able to get the resources that you need, whether it's the health insurance or treatment or housing, whatever it is, and you're able to stay stabilized, you can live certainly just as long as anyone else if you keep yourself healthy. The problem is people don't, and sometimes life circumstances are different for other people, and so they need a little bit of extra help. And that's where we come in with whether it's our HIV case management program, our treatment. We can give you support, or we can even offer treatment for HIV with the medications and stuff. If you need that, we can do all of them. We can do both. It just depends on what you want. If you're living with HIV, or if you know someone who is,
Mhm.
and lives in one of our 12 counties and can use our help. So.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. So, like, what I know you kind of mentioned in some of your services that you offer, but what are some services that you guys regularly offer in the 12 counties for patients with HIV?
Well, like I said, we have the case management. We do offer the HIV treatment. We have our medical team assigned to our health and wellness centers, and they can offer HIV treatment and care. We do offer what's called PrEP, which is an acronym that stands for pre-exposure prophylaxis. So that's for individuals who are, say, have risk for HIV, but they don't have it, but they want to prevent it from occurring, right? So that's a pill. We can bring folks into our organization, or people can go to their own doctor, whoever they want, and ask for PrEP. But if you'd get on it, then what happens is you have to get a certain amount of tests done, make sure your blood levels are looking good and you're healthy, and you take a medication once a day. And as long as you take it as prescribed by either our medical team or your own doctor, yeah, you could stay free from HIV, and it actually prevents it from taking hold in your body, which is a good thing, especially if you think that you might have some risk. And that's something that you have to assess and see whether or not you do. So we offer that service as well. Now, a lot of times we hear about HIV, and then you might hear about other STIs, or sexually transmitted infections. And they don't, while they're different from each other, a lot of times they go hand in hand, right? If you have an STI, you're at greater risk for getting HIV. So we opened up three health and wellness centers that also address reproductive health services for individuals, whether they be college students, high school students, or of course, older. Right? We're not gonna we don't want to go to. We're not going to be able to treat you if you're too young, or adults. who need help with that, or may have an HIV infection, STI infection, or aren't sure what they have and they want to be seen by some of our nurse practitioners. We offer that service as well. So I would just encourage anyone who might see this, who might need some help or be curious about whether or not they could benefit from services, just go to caringpa.org. That's caringpa.org. That's our website, and you can find all the information and book an appointment right online.
Ooh, that's very easy. Gosh, how is that
Yeah,
so
but simple.
easy? But do you
Simple
guys
as
do
can be.
all like do you guys do all like of those services in all your four offices, or do you do it in specific offices?
Well, we offer the Towanda office is not, that's a satellite office that's not really used as much because we don't get a lot of response up there. We could use it to offer certain services for testing, but we primarily use it for other agency related business. But the three health and wellness centers we have in Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, and Bloomsburg, they're very busy, and we do offer that on different days of the week. And you can find all of the schedule as well. If anyone books on our website, you can find it right there, the days that we're open and which center to go to. If you want to try, if you're not comfortable going to Wilkes-Barre, you want to go to Hazleton, or you want to go to Bloomsburg, you can certainly do it on the certain days that we're open. Yeah, we'd be happy to help you out and give you the services that you need.
Sweet.
Yep.
Like, what was like the first office that you guys opened? Was it Wilkes-Barre or was it another office?
No, Caring Communities open. We started out we've been primarily originated, I should say, in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. The Danville AIDS Task Force, that name I mentioned, which was the first name of our organization, started out in Danville, but it moved to Bloomsburg, and that's where we stayed for quite a while. And then in 2009, we expanded our services to open up an office in Wilkes-Barre because there was some need that we saw to help people with HIV or people who were at risk. A lot of people looking for prevention information and prevention tools and so forth, and like condoms and lube and things of that nature. So they would always call us in Bloomsburg for us to get this to them. So we decided to go for some funding. We got funded to open up this office in Wilkes-Barre, and we've been here ever since. And this is where a lot of our administration takes place. And we do have the health and wellness and case management too. But Bloomsburg is our second biggest office. So that offers a lot of the same services down there. We do have one of our administrators there, as well as our case management team that serves our central Pennsylvania counties. And we split it into two groups. We have one division that handles 6 counties, and the other that handles the other 6 in Northeast, 6 in North Central PA.
Oh gosh, less stress for you guys then.
That's right.
You're like less stress, so you would have to handle
There you go.
all of the like 12 counties and everything. Like, do you guys handle any counties in the western part of the state, like Erie or Pittsburgh, or is it all kind of central eastern part of the area?
Yeah, no, we only cover the 12 counties, like I said, 6 in Northeastern and 6 in North Central Pennsylvania. That is also outlined on our website, the different counties that we have. But like today, I'm coming to you from Luzerne County, so that is one of our counties. Now, in Western Pennsylvania, there are other providers out there, and in Southwestern PA and South Central, and then outside the Philly area and the collar counties around it, there are other organizations that provide similar services there, and a lot of them have similar funding that we do as well. So a lot of the services that you find that we offer, they're offering too, whether it be in Philly, Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, or here in Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton. Yep, we have the same stuff.
Ooh, so I'm sure there's probably tons of organizations like that in the area, especially in Pittsburgh, since you only guys cover, 12 counties around the area. So I'm sure like there's probably more to it than there's one,
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you go to Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, you're gonna be able to find a lot more service because there's a lot more people, and certainly a lot more money, that available to funding those types of organizations. And in our area here in northeastern Pennsylvania, there's there's a couple organizations that do similar work that we do. Not as many as in Philly, of course. And then in North Central, there's a handful. So the more rural you get in Pennsylvania, at least for the services that we offer and the type of funding we have, the less services that you have, the less providers, I should say. But the service is there, fully available. The same service that same case management service as an example that someone gets in Philadelphia, somebody can get in Sullivan County from us, or in Bradford County, or in Susquehanna County. We can offer that. It's just going to look a little different, of course, because it's a different, it's a different terrain, it's a different area. But the services are there for people. Yeah, and I encourage them to go to caringpa.org or call us, and we'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah, 100%. Because there's always, of course, there's not a lot of organizations, especially nonprofits like yours, that has those services, especially in Pennsylvania. I know there's probably a lot of people that suffer HIV, or there's people that kind of are scared if it's maybe the genetic in their family or something. And there's always, plenty of services, but who knows if it's actually based in your area, because then sometimes you might have to travel, let's just say 2 hours to go to your nearest place to get treated.
I mean, some people do choose to go travel to get treated because of the stigma associated with HIV. That is a reality. To this day, there's still a stigma, because people feel that they're not comfortable, I should say, coming out to a doctor or going to a doctor and disclosing that they have that their status is HIV positive, as an example. And so sometimes we have individuals we help that travel to Philly or travel to another area for help and medical services, because they don't feel like they're judged, or they don't feel like it's a big deal down there. So that's a reality that we have to deal with a lot of times, the stigma. But caring communities is really, we're fully aware of that. We get it, and we do our very best to make sure that all information is kept confidential, and that people are kept as comfortable as they can and treated absolutely in a non-judgmental way when they come in, whether it's for HIV or whether it's for an STI screening with one of our nurse practitioners. We're certainly not going to make you feel uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form intentionally. That we know that's a major concern for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know with a lot of people, some people might not be the biggest doctor people ever. Like I know some people that
Right.
prefer maybe go to a small town office rather than going to a doctor's office with a lot of people. So
Yeah.
whether it's like going to a office in Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, or Bloomsburg, it could make people more comfortable in some shape or forms. Of course, not a lot of people are fans of going to the doctor's office.
Some people are, yeah. Some people, it doesn't matter. They're okay with it. But but it's a reality. And it's very individualized. And so that's one of the things that we will screen for when someone comes into our services and asks us for help. We actually have an intake form, and on the intake form, if you're coming, say, for case management, we'll ask you whether or not it's okay for us to mail anything to your house, because sometimes people have HIV, and even the people they live with don't know they have that diagnosis. So, we're obligated to do what you want and to, ensure your confidentiality no matter the circumstance, because that's up to you as a person. If a person's living with HIV, it's up to that person to disclose or not disclose when it comes to their status. So we will have to do things, we'll have to go so far as to do that. Or if they say, sure, you can send us something, right? Notification of their appointment or whatever it is, as a follow-up in a letter, we will do it without putting anything on our letterhead. It'll be on a plain piece of paper in case that letter is, hanging around and someone picks it up that doesn't know they have HIV. So they won't be able to see that it's our agency helping them out. So there's a lot of different things that we have to keep in mind and try to do to ensure the comfort of folks and to ensure their confidentiality.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, do you guys have any guidelines in place to get treated at caring for communities, or is it kind of, straightforward, like you accept anybody?
You mean guidelines in terms of who can qualify?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are some qualifications that would come into play depending on, whether or not a person has insurance. If they don't have insurance, we have sliding fee scales for some of our services, that would be on the health and wellness side. We have other individuals where if they make under a certain amount of money, I think it's somewhere between like 65,000, whatever it is, where they would qualify for case management services. So we would screen folks for that. The majority of people who come into our offices looking for help would qualify for something. It would just depend on what they're looking for. And then what we would do is our staff would route them to the right department to see, who can best help them, for for a service that they're looking for, depending on what that is. Some people, it may not matter. They just might want to see our doctor and that's it. Just get the medications, their insurance picks it up. It doesn't matter what their income is. They can have high income or whatever, and they just need that service and they're fine. So we will do that. Or some people, like I said earlier, they get all the services. They'll get case management. Some people get tested because they had risk and they didn't even know their status. Then we find out that they're HIV positive. Then they come into our case management program, and then they're referred to our medical provider, and then they get HIV treatment, and then they come back to the case management to get follow-up. So it's all kind of a one-stop shop, and some people take advantage of that too. So yeah, it's very individualized, and we work with people on a variety of levels.
Yeah, and I know with a lot of people, whenever they see like services provided, they're like, okay, if it's free or not, or if I have to pay for it, I'm going to take advantage of basically everything. I know for me, I'm just like whenever I see something
Sure.
provided, whether it's, health related or whatever, I'm just like, I don't care. Take my money as much as you need. I can do the service.
Yeah, we don't charge often at all. It's a lot of it would be whether or not your income, allows you to allows us to render services to you, or if you have insurance, then we'll just bill the insurance. So that works perfectly. Yeah. But if someone's watching and they don't have insurance, but they need HIV case management, but you don't need insurance for that at all. Just come in.
Ooh,
Yep, just call us.
love
Yeah,
it.
it's only if you're getting medication or treated by the doctor. That's where the insurance comes in. But the good part is we have what's known as access to what's called Ryan White funding. Now, Ryan White, I don't know if you know who he was, but he was a boy back in the 80s who actually passed from HIV. He had AIDS. And there is money set aside by Congress, set aside some funding to help the domestic HIV agenda. So here in the United States, funding is doled out to organizations like Caring Communities through what's called the Ryan White program, and we can help people pay for life-saving medical services if they don't have insurance. That was done purposely back in around 1990 or so, named after Ryan White, so that people never had to worry if they had HIV or AIDS, about how they were going to get treated. So that is still around today. We can still access those dollars and help people. So the message here, I think, Kylie, is if anyone needs help, no matter your status, don't worry about whether or not you have insurance or you have enough money and all that stuff. Just give us a call. We'll tell you who, if we're in your area, we serve your county, we'll help you out if you wish it, or we can tell you where else to go, but get the help you need. Just make the call. That's all you got to do.
You heard them, people. That's the most important thing. Like, I didn't even know that was such a thing, like that, like
I
act.
know a lot of people don't know that, but it's true. Yeah.
Interesting. So, as we wrap up, like, how can people, sign up or learn more about caring communities?
So certainly, like I said before, definitely I think the best way is to go to our website. And again, it's caringpa, caringpa.org. Go to the website. Everything you need to know about us is right there. All of our services, how you can access an appointment for services if you so desire to get one through our Health and Wellness Center. You can find out where our locations are. You can find out what events we have coming up that we're involved with in the community. We do have social media too, which you can access through that. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter or X, that platform. We're on, I think, Instagram. So our team runs all that. So we're trying to get the word out about our services and different things we're doing that way too. But and you can call us at 570-829-2700. We're happy to help you out. Like I said, if anyone needs it, please just reach out and we'll help you out any way we can.
Great. So I will put all the links and everything down below for everyone that wants to check it out. I recommend so much. So I really appreciate all the work you are doing for caring communities. I really appreciate the work you guys are doing. I know in this area there should be a lot more things like this. I really appreciate all the work you're doing with caring communities, and I really also appreciate you coming on and talking to us about caring communities as well.
Yes, and I appreciate the opportunity, Kylie, to talk today about this and to talk about caring communities and our great team. We have excellent medical providers and outstanding case managers. They do fantastic work. So I appreciate it. Let me talk about them today. Thanks for having me on.